Hi guys, and welcome to Tailored Talk. Today I'm going to do a review of the film The Inspection, which was made in 2022. Okay, so it's about this is the IMDb, um, synopsis about a young gay black man rejected by his mother with few options for his future decides to join the Marines, doing whatever it takes to succeed in a system that would cast him aside. Now that is from IMDb. Okay, so the director and writer is Elegance Bratton. This is the first film that he's ever directed. I thought he did a fantastic job. Now, I'm just going to go over the cast. Now, this is the main cast of who was the protagonist and the recruits on the Marine base. Okay, so the protagonist, the main character, is Ellis French, who was played by Jeremy Pope. His mother was played by Gabrielle Union, who is Inez French. The chief of the recruit staff was Laws, Chief Laws, played by Bokeem Woodbine. His hand man was Brooks, played by Nicholas Logan, and Rosales, played by Raul Castillo. And Rosales plays a really important role in Ellis's story. We're gonna go into that. So there was Harvey, who I feel along Harvey and Laws were the antagonists of the film, and a guy called McCall Lombardi played Harvey, and he, in my opinion, was the antagonist. We have Aaron Dominguez, who's one of the recruits, who was Castro. You've got Aubrey Joseph, who played Cheeky Bowles. You have Andrew Kai, who plays Label, who is a guy with 50-50 integrity, who does have some morals, but is like 50-50. Recruit Label is kind of a flip-flopper, and I will tell you why. And there is this guy Eman, he was Eman Esfandi, who literally could be a model, who I think is like the model, who I think is the model of the group. He's a stunning guy. I'm guessing he's a model as well. His face is absolutely stunning. Anyway, so he is Iman Asfandi, and he plays the recruit's only Muslim member, who is Ismail. And we're going to talk about him and the way that he's poorly treated in the Marines as well. So the film begins. A guy called Ellis French, the lead. We see him hugging all of his friends and getting onto a train. So we assume that Ellis is LGBTQ from the friends that he has. So he goes to his mother's house, knocks on the door. His mother is very reluctant to let him in. His mother is Enos, played by Gabrielle Union. Now, Gabrielle Union is absolutely unrecognizable as Ellis's mother. So she doesn't really want to know. She doesn't care. She kicked him out a long time ago after he came out, we find out. And she's apparently at peace with losing him. So he goes to her and says, Mother, I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to go to the Marines. And she's like, What's that got to do with me? Ellis is like, I need my birth certificate. Reluctantly, she lets him in. So it's very clear as soon as he steps into the apartment. One, Enos is very religious, and two, she's extremely homophobic. She stares at him with disdain when he walks into the room. She makes him sit on newspaper so that he doesn't sit on the couch. She cleans everything that he happens to touch. Enos really thinks that sexuality is just like flicking on a light switch, and that Ellis is refusing to be straight. So, you know, Ellis makes a bid to try to come back home and try to be in her life again. And she refuses. She doesn't want anything to do with him. But she does give him the birth certificate, and he's like, Mom, I'm gonna make you proud. I'm gonna be a real man. I'm gonna join the Marines. And she gives him the birth certificate, and she's like, Ellis, I hope so. I hope this works out, because the Marines is your last chance. You know, if you don't become the man that I want you to be, aka be straight, she warns him that she will cut him off for good. Okay, so Ellis leaves after that. We get back onto we are now shown in Ellis on the bus, along with a whole bunch of budding recruits, and the his marine journey begins. So when he gets out, we also see female recruits as well. And that immediately piqued my interest, because what is it like for women in the Marines? And you see different different types of guys and the team that Alice has to work with. Okay, so you've got Bowles, the cheeky recruit. You've got Harvey, the nepotism, the nepotism recruit. There we go. Okay, so you've got Harvey, whose dad served with Laws, who is Harvey's the nepotism baby. You've got Castro, who's a bit of a jokester. You've got Bowles, who is the joker and the smooth talker of the group. You've got Label, who's kind of appears to be the moral conscience of the group, but he's really a flip flopper. You've got Ishmael, like I said, is the only Muslim recruit. He gets a lot of shit early on, a lot of Islamic phobic shit early on that is laughed at by the team leaders. And he's the first one that has a budding friendship with Ellis, and it's very sweet. Okay. So on the Marie, when they get out of the bus, the pecking order begins. Instantly, there's the Islamophobic jokes by Bowles, and it gets laughed at by the rest of the team. We get introduced to the drill sergeants. We get introduced to Chief Laws. We get introduced to. Let's take a look. Here we go. To Chief Laws, Kill Hat Brooks, who's a psychotic drill sergeant, and the more sympathetic drill sergeant Rosales. It becomes very clear earlier on that Ellis has a little crush on Rosales. We can see that. We also get a vibe that Rosales can sense something about Ellis, because he goes easier on Ellis than he does on the other recruits. Watching it, I didn't trust Castro. I thought Castro would be a problem. They get in and they have to make the calls to their family, the last calls. I thought, well, Ellis fakes a call to his girlfriend, but it really calls his mother. So the recruits are exercising. It's the day to day of their marine life. I'm so glad that Chief Laws left Ishmael alone when he was doing his daily prayers. As we go on throughout the film, Ishmael and Ellis are creating a little friendship. They're saving each other stuff. They're having dinner together. They're helping each other out. They're making little jokes together, and that's kind of nice to see Ellis bond with somebody. And no, they none of them know his secret. None of them know. And he puts on the most masculine performance that he can. So they do a battle. Everybody There's a battle that's set up for squad leader. And Ellis, they have to do pull-ups. Ellis does very well, but I think he threw that task deliberately to make Harvey, nepotism baby, squad leader. Throughout his time in the Marines, Ellis is having dreams about everybody, like, sexy gay dreams about everybody, including Rosales. And it's throughout he has daydreams about Rosales, you know, hooking up that part where he tries to kiss him and it goes blank, or he tries to touch him and then he wakes up. So throughout the film he's having little dreams, fantasies about his crush, Rosales. He happens to have this go into a dreamland when he's in the shower. Now it's a group shower, everybody's showering, everybody's naked. So Ellis has this sexy dream about Rosales, about everybody in the showers. Actually, he gets too excited, and everybody notices and suspects that he's gay. Now, really, mishaps happen with body parts, and guys can get random hard-ons. So I don't know why they just didn't give him a pass, why they just didn't ignore it, but they didn't. So they jumped to the conclusion that he's gay. They beat the shit out of him. The um the drill sergeants watch him get beaten up a little bit before they go, stop, enough. So there's this haunting scene where Ellis is on the floor, gurgling and crawling around in his own blood. And he's in the showers, and the squad leaders, kind of say nothing. They're like, and then before they're like, leave him alone. And then everybody just leaves him alone. They leave him to it while he struggles to get up. So Ishmael and Ellis, their friendship is done. Ishmael won't even look at him anymore. None of them will talk to him. And in the beginning, none of the superiors mentioned the gay thing. None of it. And right, what was, if anybody has seen this, what was Chief Law's slow motion finger in the gum thing? It was oddly weird and oddly sexual, and I don't know why that happened. So Ellis, day by day, he gets more isolated, he gets harassed, he gets bullied, he gets picked on. Nobody wants to be around him. Nobody talks to him. Nobody gives him any advice. None of the squad leaders help him with guns, help him with exercises. Everybody wants to just stay away from him, which is precisely how the don't ask, don't tell thing exists. Because after he's got outed, nobody wants to have anything to do with him, and of course, nobody wants that treatment. So Rosales does eventually help him with the gun. So throughout this, Ellis is also still having dreams about Rosales. He's getting bullied by instructors and cadets. And I honestly thought that he might have some kind of breakdown. Laws was telling him to eat a fly. He was getting, pushed around by the cadets a lot. And the superiors would watch it, but they wouldn't say anything. His teammates really appeared to hate him. All the bullying and the harassment comes to a head when Chief Officer Laws, who is the leader, instructs the guys that they're going to do a swimming exercise. The drill instructors will pretend to be drowning. The recruits have to go in and save their sergeant and bring them to the surface and make sure they're okay. So Laws pairs himself with Ellis. Chief Laws pretends to be drowning. Um, Ellis does the right thing that he's supposed to do, dives in to save his squad leader. Instead of, Ellis helping Laws up through the water, bringing him to safety, taking him to the swimming pool edge, hoisting him over the edge, and ending the exercise, this is what happens. Laws is pretending to be drowning in the water. Ellis comes in, dives in, dives in the water, tries to save Chief Laws. And what does Chief Laws do? He then, submerges Ellis further underwater and proceeds to try and drown him. Okay, so Ellis is left in the water, half dead. Guess who pulls him out of the water? His crush, the only light at the end of the tunnel. This guy, this mysterious, handsome guy that he's getting, um, on-off signals from, Sergeant Masalas. He's the one that saves him. He dives in, he pulls him out of the water. He even gives him CPR. Can you imagine that? Gives him CPR while everybody looks on in disbelief. Obviously, when Ellis becomes conscious, he freaks out and is like, I want to report people. And then he's like, and then Chief Laws is like, Chief Laws is like, you know, do what you want. So there's a long pause. Ellis is devastated and he's struggling to breathe as he's just nearly died. And then Label speaks up. Label finally speaks up after weeks of seeing Ellis treated like shit. He finally speaks up in front of everybody and says, like, is anybody going to acknowledge that Sergeant Laws is a complete psycho? That we just watched him try to kill somebody? Like, nobody has anything to say, but it's the first time that Label has spoke up about Ellis's treatment. He'll speak up about Islamophobia. He'll speak up about unfair, unfair treatment with the other cadets. But he said nothing about Ellis's treatment until now. Now Ellis is nearly a dead rat on the floor. Right. So yeah, yeah. The only person that treats Ellis is Rosa. Yeah. The only one that treats him properly is Rosales. The only one that ever tries to help him, tries to be there and listen to his problems is Rosales. And I do wonder why. Is it because he respects him and that's it? Is it because he wants to treat everybody equally? Or does he actually have a crush on Ellis? I don't know. So when they go back to, the recruits go back to their den and the sergeants go back to their shared housing. They all live together, they all hang out together. The great thing is that Rosales calls out his team leaders on the shitty treatment of Ellis. He calls out Laws for trying to basically drown his own recruit and says, look, I don't like the way you're treating him. You're bullying him. We don't do bullying here. We train people. We don't bully people. And his sergeant friends, if I'm always forgetting. Let's go back. Let's go up. There we go. Brooks and Laws. There we go. Brooks and Laws are just like, you're just overreacting. They call Ellis the F word. They're extremely homophobic and they just laugh about it. Laws was like, I really thought that I was going to get in trouble. Rosales was like, well, can you blame him? Look at what you did to him. So I'm really glad that Rosales called the people out that he respects. He called out his brothers in arms. He called them out for the shitty treatment of Ellis, and that was a really upstanding thing to do. Okay, so during this time, um I think that after what Laws did to Ellis, that softens the group towards Ellis. I think that honestly makes them see him in a different light, makes them feel sorry for him, and kind of puts into perspective how badly they've been treating Ellis. I feel like, in a way, Laws trying to drown him was one of the best things that could have happened to him because it made the other recruits see Ellis as human, whereas they didn't before. But when they saw him getting treated so badly by their squad leader, who they're trying to respect, they knew it set them off kilter because they knew that what they were seeing was deeply wrong. And seeing somebody in authority do that, I think it threw them for a loop. And I think that that's when they all kind of mentally said, we need to stop doing this to him. If the superiors are treating him like that, we need to lay off him. And I think they all kind of, he became like the baby brother of the group. They all decided to kind of look out for him, look after him, and finally treat him like a brother in arms. He became one of them through that traumatic moment. So Ellis is now really good friends with Ishmael again, and his religion and the way that he looks sets him apart from the rest of the guys. So they're in church, and he realizes his religion and his looks make him different and make him a target within the group, and he kind of has a little breakdown in the toilet. And Ellis goes to the toilet, comforts him, which Ishmael never did for him. But anyway, he comforts him. They hug, and then Ishmael goes, "Does this make me gay?" That was one of the most funniest moments of the film. It turns out that you know, that Ellis's hot mystery crush, Rosales, is having marriage problems, much to Ellis's delight. So why he decides to hide and then comes out and then kind of rubs his shoulder. Why even hide? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I was just like, what? Just mind your own business. Like, the dude is married. You guys can't happen. He's married. So we're going back to training, and Harvey tampers with Ellis's shots. They have to do shots, they have to do it accurately, and then they get set up for graduation. So Harvey deliberately tries to tamper with his shots, saying that he missed and he didn't. Most of the team then stand up for Ellis and say that his shots were fine. Harvey's tampering. When it gets noted that Harvey's tampering, Ellis is allowed to retry his shots again, making him pass for graduation. So Ellis is worried about his mother because he's been sending Enos letters and letters, trying to call, there's no response. He goes to Rosales and says, "Can I, call her again?" There's only a limited amount of calls. But Rosales, being the kind guy that he is, gives him one chance to call his mother. He calls his mother and invites her to graduation. He literally has to beg Enos to consider coming to graduation. By this point, I'm just pissed off by this point because I'm like, why are you begging this woman? I would have given up on her a long time ago. Why are you begging this woman to be a part of your life? She's clearly not worth it. So there's a next exercise which they kind of do combat. They do combat with these kind of the gladiator pillow things, and they just wield them and they beat each other up. So it's Harvey, nepotism baby, versus Ellis. They go to war, and Ellis tries his best, but Harvey gets the better of him. And this is with like helmets and stuff. And then he's like, nice try. You should have kept your eyes, you should have kept your eyes on me and whatever, Ellis. And then Ellis gets up and says, "I'm right here, bitch." Takes off the helmet, beats the shit out of Harvey, and gets everybody's respect. Right. So now he's kind of got the masculine respect that he's always wanted. He's kind of seen as a badass now. So he goes crazy on Harvey, gives Harvey a black eye, and kind of becomes a little bit of an alpha male. Well, a step towards being an alpha male. And the guys don't give him shit anymore. He starts to gain confidence in himself. Now, because of this newfound confidence, he decides to follow Rosales, his crush, to the showers and make a pass at him. So Ellis kind of gets close to Rosales. in the showers and tries to kiss him. And Rosales backs away, tells Ellis to get out, put his clothes on, and meet him outside. Ellis does exactly that. Rosales puts his clothes on, meets the recruit outside, and basically says he's very much a politician about everything. He's like, you know, you are a, there are lots of LGBTQ people in the Marines. Without, LGBTQ, there wouldn't be a Marines. It's built on the LGBT community, but it has to be very hush hush. You know, I help you, Ellis, because you're a human being. I help you because you are a recruit, and it is my job to train recruits. I will help anybody. I will help everybody. I'm not a judgmental person. I'm here to help everybody. This is my job. I'm here to make you the best Marine that you can be. You know, now please leave and go back to your team. You know, now Rosales, I want to believe what you're saying. I want That's a very like PR constructed speech right there. I want to believe that that the relationship and the emotions that you have regarding Ellis is just professional. I want to believe that you treat everybody the same. I want to believe that, you're just a good drill sergeant that wants to build the best out of everybody. But it's not exactly true, is it? Because when you look at Ellis, your eyes tell me a very different story. So, graduation day. His mother, Enos, actually gets her shit together and comes to her son's graduation. So, my question is, why has she got all that stuff in her car? She's got files, she's got bags of stuff, she's got clothing. I thought she might have got kicked out. But what is all that stuff in her car? Is it just junk? Is it Ellis's? Is it hers? Anyway, so she parks, she goes in that mess of a car. She goes in, she watches him graduate. They join up in the communal room in the big graduation hall. And Enos is basically like, look at you, you're really amazing. They're eating. Like, where are you gonna go after this? And Ellis is like, I'm just gonna book a hotel, probably somewhere near to you so we can keep in touch. Enos finally is a mother for once and says, well, why don't you just stay with me? It will be great having you around again. And I can't believe you're in the Marines. I'm so proud of you. And all the local girls will be interested in you because my son is now a handsome, brand spanking new masculine Marine. Now, I honestly thought Ellis was going to smile and nod because that's what he's always wanted, right? His mother's approval. That's what he's always wanted: his mother's approval, her attention, her love, and the opportunity to move back in. That's what he's wanted from the start. So I thought he was just going to smile and nod. They were going to eat, and that would be the end of it. Ellis looks up at her and immediately goes, just because I'm a Marine, but I'm still gay. I was quite shocked when he said that because I was like, well, aren't you gonna play it straight a little bit? The whole point of this was to be Mr. Supermasculine, Mr. Straight, so you could get on your mother's good side and move in and be with her again. So I don't understand why he immediately came back with, I'm still gay. Because after that, she completely loses her shit. She berates him in front of everybody. In front of everybody, and even other soldiers, his teammates, are turning around to go, what the hell's going on? Furious that he's not straight enough or that he's not willing to play straight to please her. She outs him. Laws comes up to see what's going on. She outs him to Laws. She outs him to everybody. to plan to humiliate him and just shame him into maybe into changing his mind, shame him into being straight, shame him into changing his mind, shame him into changing so that they can have a relationship again. And this is one of the best scenes. All of Ellis's teammates, all of his team, his squad, they all basically collectively get together to tell Enos to fuck off. It's one of my favorite scenes in this film. After Enos is humiliated for a change, she runs off. He follows her and they basically come to an understanding. She's like, I love you, but I don't accept who you are. And Ellis looks her in the face and says, Mother, I want more than anything for you to be in my life. Stay in contact with me if you want to, or don't. You can contact me or don't. And when he says that, you get the feeling that he's gonna be okay. You know, we don't know what the hell if he sent so many letters. We don't know if they got through to her or not. We don't know if she read them or and burned them or read them and kept them and didn't respond. And to be honest with you, I think Ellis is so used to Innes's rejection and Innes not being in his life that now he has the Marines. It's not that he doesn't need her, but he can see life without her. And I think that was a fantastic ending. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the review. Right, standout performances: Michael Logan, who played Sergeant Brooks; Bokeem Woodbine, who played Leland Chief Laws, the psycho that tried to drown Ellis; and for me, the number one standout was Gabrielle Union. Now we know that Gabrielle, in real life, she has an LGBTQ child. We know that she's one of the most supportive celebrity mothers in the world. We know that she has no problem with LGBTQ. Really, you couldn't ask for a more supportive family than the Wade family, to be quite honest with you. So it was amazing to see her as this bitter, homophobic but devastated mother. I mean, my jaw dropped when Ines put the newspaper down on the couch because I've never seen anybody do that before, but that's probably been done before. You know, Gabrielle was definitely a revelation. She was just bitter from the inside out. This is what happens when you let like homophobia and nastiness and regret and bitterness and devastation eat at you from the inside out. Like it's completely ravaged her. And her speech at the end made me realize that she's so disgusted with Ellis because she's heartbroken. I really believe he honestly broke her heart and it's never been able to repair. When he came out, I feel like it physically cut Ines like a knife, and she's been trying and failing to heal ever since. And she's been blaming herself for her son's sickness, her son's disease, her son's fatal flaw ever since. And that's why she's so bitter. She's so bitter because all she wanted was the best for him, and she sees heterosexuality as the best life. And I really do believe she does want the best life for him. She wants him to have an easy life. She wants him to have the 2.4, the beautiful wife and the 2.4 children and the suburban picket fence. She wants that for him so bad because she loves him. But she's never gonna get that, and she's running to her religion to try to justify the way that she feels. But the guilt is eating her up. You can see it in every scene. And Gabrielle was absolutely amazing. My jaw dropped when I saw her and she opened the door. I actually paused the TV and was like, "Is that Gabrielle Union? Oh my god!" Yeah, she was absolutely fantastic, amazing. Okay, guys. Standout scenes. Every scene where Ishmael has to deal with racism and homophobia. Ishmael constantly has to go through a tough time where he deals with 9/11 jokes, jokes about his religion, um, by from the Brooks and Laws. He's constantly seen as the enemy, and there's a lot of comments concerning that. It would have also been great to see how minorities in general deal with being in the Marines, because, like everywhere, we know that minorities are going to be going through racism with their white peers. So that would have been also interesting to see. And how would Laws, who's a black man, how would he handle that? Another standout scene is Laws drowning Ellis, trying to drown him. The whole team's reaction and Ellis's speech to Rosales about how it's kind of an honor to die in military uniform than it is to die as a homeless gay man out on the streets. My the third batch of standout scenes is any scenes with Ellis and Rosales. Guys, I think they're gonna be my OTP, to be quite honest. Now, after the film, I looked at some reviews, and some reviews are saying that they're just friends. That Rosales is like a father figure. That's a hell of a weird father figure, considering the dreams that Ellis is having about the guy, and that Rosales is a brother figure. He's just a friend that's just there. Maybe they believe that speech, that's just there to help every Marine, and that there's nothing really going on. Now, I can see what those other reviews are trying to sell. Maybe Rosales is just really open minded and friendly. Maybe he has or has had an LGBTQIA friend or family member, and he didn't stand up for them in the past, and now he's making up for it now with Ellis. Maybe Rosales' feelings are completely platonic. Maybe he just admires Ellis's bravery for being himself and being out in this toxic masculine environment. But I'm not buying it. I think there's something else there. The whole character of Rosales and the way that he's played reminds me of the video called "See It in a Boy's Eye," in a Boy's Eyes, by Jamelia, and it was written by Chris Martin by Coldplay, especially for her. Okay, so check out that video. It's called "See It in a Boy's Eyes," and everything that happens in that video is pretty much everything that happens between Rosales and Ellis. Rosales is very, he doesn't say much sometimes when it comes to Ellis, but he's very physically overwhelming. Everything that he does is kind of through body language, and there's too much chemistry there. It makes me question Rosales constantly. Every time I see Rosales, there's a big question mark over him, and it's a great credit to the actor for making Rosales' feelings, his emotions, and his sexuality a complete mystery. Because the dude is married to a woman, we know this, but I'm still confused about who he is and what his feelings are and how he classes himself sexually, and what is he sexuality wise. I'm so confused, and that takes an enormous amount of talent to make a character so complex. So credit to the actor, Raul Castillo. Okay, guys. I think they have chemistry. It would have been nice to see them two have at least one kiss or a Hollywood ending, but I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad that they didn't, because I think the movie ended up better because of it. The way that they're whatever we're calling this, the way that Rosales kind of ended it and the way that he spoke to Ellis is really realistic. And I'm glad that they ended whatever they've got on a realistic note. I'm glad that it wasn't Rosales and Elias have this Hollywood ending. I'm glad they didn't get that. So that was a good, fantastic decision from Elegance. Okay, guys, that's the end of the review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.